Well, hello, welcome back to Color and Canvas. This is the next installment in our beginners lessons, and right now I'm going to show you how to do a straight pour. You can see the mess from the last paintings, which I hope you saw the videos of those. We did some flip cups and a ring pour, and we are now going to use the paints that we mixed up in our demo, and we are going to do a straight pour. Now in these paints, remember, our original paint was a little thicker because we were doing a ring pour, and I've added a few drops of water, and it's a little bit thinner now. I might actually add 2 more drops of water to this little cup because we want the paint a tiny bit thinner, not water thin, just a little thinner. Perfect. You can see it leaves a little mound, but it disappears really quickly. That's what I want for this, and I've mixed the white and the gold with a little bit of water, and they have the same consistency. So let us layer a new cup, and I will show you what a straight pour looks like. I'm going to get our little cup here. Now we're going to layer the cup in the same way that we did for the ring pour. I'm deciding which color I want first to come out last, and I'm going to use blue. So I'm pouring it right along the side, just like that. Whoops, I'm going to get rid of my popsicle stick because it's in the way. I can usually hold it, but for demonstrating it's not so good. So we're going to use the blue. And the white. And we're just going to do layers, just like we did for the ring pour. I'm just going to pour layer after layer of these colors. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm only using 3 colors on purpose. You can use more colors, you can use any colors that you want, but because these are the colors that we mixed for demonstrating, these are the colors that we're going to use right now. Okay, and I think we're going to have about 3 layers of colors. I'm going to use up the blue. I'm just going to scrape that right out. This is our last demonstration for the day, so let's use up our color that we mixed for the demo. And we have our white. Still have a bit of white left. I'm going to leave, I'm not going to use it all up. And a little bit of gold. Okay, so let's pour. I'm going to do one different thing this time, is that I'm going to put a little bit of paint right in the middle to pour into. Just the last few drops of white that we had, we're going to use them up. I'm just going to pour right into that puddle, and that's just going to move to the sides. So we don't have to worry about anything about that. There's nothing special going on there. Okay, now I'm going to pour, and it's literally just going to be straight. I may move the cup up and down height-wise a little bit, so here we go. So just pouring straight and slow. And you can see some beautiful patterns coming out. I'm going to go lower, I'm going to go a little bit higher, but not too high, or your paint will blend together. As you get to the bottom of the cup, you can see that it's coming out. You're going to have more and more patterns. I think one of my pins is off, so I'm moving. I'm holding on here, and I might just jiggle it a little bit at the end just to get the last of the paint out. And there we go. I'm going to turn it right now. I think one of my pins is crooked, and so the canvas isn't quite straight, which is why it's pouring off one side, but we're going to be okay. I'm just going to hold it, but look at that beautiful, beautiful pattern right in the middle. Now you can leave it like that. For myself, I like just a little curl in the middle. I like it to be nice and neat. So I'm just going to do just like that, and that's going to be very, very interesting. All right, let's torch that. I can see a lot of air bubbles because we just mixed water into the paint, remember, and we've stirred it around and created bubbles. There's a lot of paint on this canvas, a lot. And I'm going to pour the extra around the edges. Use it for our flow extender on our corners and on our sides. Oh, there's actually very little left in the cup. I may go back and use our first cup. Again, all of that paint is going to pour off, so we don't have to worry about what color it is or anything like that. It's all going to get covered up and go over the sides. Okay, I'm going to torch one more time because I can see a lot more bubbles. And then we'll pour off, and all the good stuff is going to be in the middle. So here we go. Just going to go corner to corner again, just to get paint all over the whole canvas. And then we'll see what kind of design we have left behind in the middle. I think I'm going to pour off this edge first because we're already over there and there's a lot of paint on here. We're going to have to get rid of some of it. You can't leave too much paint. And right there, I see a little resistance. That means that there's a little blob of paint there. See that? Pick that up, remove that, so it doesn't move around your painting and create trouble. And we'll go to the opposite corner. You do have to pour off the paint. If you decided right now that, oh, it's pretty and I want to keep it, you cannot. There is too much paint on here, and it will crack if you leave it too thick. You are going to have to pour some off. It is not worth the risk of cracking your painting to keep a design, because what good is the design if the painting's all cracked, right? You're not going to use it, you're not going to hang it, you're not going to enjoy it. So let's get to that last corner. I'm quite liking the way that this looks. I'm not going to pour off too much because I love what's there. Let's encourage that. Beautiful. Just going to touch up that corner. And the paint, where I touched it, it's not leaving fingerprints. It's going to keep the paint flowing on that edge, is what it's going to do. And the paint that's pouring down is going to pour down where I touched, and it's going to cover that right up. And I can see that it's not covered right here, so we're going to do that. Let me turn it around. And I'm going to tilt it a little bit this way. And look at all the beautiful lines. Beautiful, beautiful details. I'm going to center that middle part, and then I think we're going to be done. And I don't want any more pouring over that side. Okay. Let us see. See, this is where I did the little swirly, because I didn't want a pointy edge, so it's just kind of like that. I actually could do a little bit more if I wanted to. Aha, see? Even softer. You can, you know, touch up little things if you need to right now with a little pointed stick. If you wanted to move something around, you know, now's the time to do it when it's very, very fluid. See, I don't love this little cell that's right here. I don't know what's going on, so I'm actually going to just run right through it, and see, now it's gone. And I don't have to look at it. And now there's another one. There's going to be 100 of them just because I said that. You don't have to touch up anything. You can leave it exactly as it is, but you can touch it up if you want to. Just be very, very careful of what you're doing, because you don't want to do something that's going to ruin it. And if you don't have experience doing it, you know, you might slip and drop something or scrape something and you will regret it. So that's something too, you know. If you do a pour that you don't like, before you scrape it and start over, experiment some techniques on it. You know, if you're going to throw it away anyhow, you know, do a little experiment, you know, and see if you can make it better before you pour. Anyways, I think this turned out absolutely lovely. And yeah, I like that very much. I think we're going to leave the composition just the way that it is. clean up the bottom so that it stops pouring. But as you can see, that gold is popping up through the blue and making a few cells, and there may be a few more cells on there before it dries. So I will show you the finished product at the end of the video so that you know how it dried and how it looked. And I think it turned out great. But so there, now you know how to do a straight pour. Another thing for you to practice and have fun with. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day. Go make some art. Bye-bye.